Good evening and happy Martin Luther King Jr. Day from Kickball 365 Incorporated. I am your CEO, Stephen Ozier, and with me this week for the very first installment of the new podcast entitled Encroachment, the podcast that goes over the line, is, of course, from the West Coast, the Patty. Patty, say hello to the people.
Hello to the people. How are you people? You're such pretty people.
And with us, as always, the juggernaut from the East, Adam Adderock. Say what's up.
What's up, y'all? Keeping it south.
And the man behind the scenes who got this whole thing started, of course, Matthew Admin Kemp. Say hello to the people.
Good evening.
So jumping right into it, most of you have the day off. Of course, we here at Kickball 365 never take the day off because it's Kickball 365.
I see what you did there.
You like that?
Yeah. Calendar humor. It's good. I like it.
Jumping right into it.
We're on leave here.
First off, a little bit about the current situation regarding the rule book. We are in final edits right now. We are very fortunate enough to have some very key people we wanted to bring on for 2015, be a part of the Rules Committee. For you guys that do not know, the Rules Committee is basically a cross-section of players from all across the country that help us look at the rules, dissect the rules, figure out what's working, what's not. If we have crazy situations that happen on a tournament-to-tournament basis and you guys want to chime in, then we take them to our Rules Committee and we say, hey, are these working? Are they not working? What do you guys think? And so that's one thing that we wanted to do is get this year's rule book out to them, have them take a look at it and get back to us. And so that happened over the weekend. And we're extremely close to getting something together for you guys and putting it out. With that being said, I wanted to touch on a couple of things with the guys. First of all, the male coaches policy from last year regarding women's events heading into 2015. One of the big changes is we're just going to change that, and we're just going to call it the coaches policy. Any non-playing coaches, whether it be at a women's event or co-ed, first of all, you guys get a free registration. And then furthermore, your space and area is extremely defined. On the topic of non-playing coaches, do you guys think that this is something that players are going to benefit from, not benefit from? Where you guys stand?
I think it's a good thing. Getting a little bit more specification on that. It obviously hasn't been that much of an issue for the co-ed tournaments, but there was a little bit of confusion and consternation in regards to the women's events this last year. But yeah, I think it's a good thing. Get a little bit more clarification on the whole non-playing coach thing, and I think we'll probably see a few more teams that have non-playing coaches this year.
Yeah, like we were going over last episode, I think we're definitely going to start seeing it because they see a whole different aspect of the game than when you're involved and not focused on it, and especially in the women's tournaments because the guys are control freaks. They always need to be a part of it, so it'll define that position too.
Definitely. Admin, anything to add?
No, my thoughts from last week were shared. I'm excited. Who are coaches, we definitely encourage you to look at the rule book. We've launched this thing called the Knowledge Base. The details will also be posted there with a lot of questions that folks have been sending us via email or on social media. But excited to see the change, and hopefully folks will be aware of that. You don't have to pay to be a coach anymore. And there might be folks that might say, instead of hanging up the cleats, they want to come back. So looking forward to seeing if any of those folks stay in the game and stay involved with the community just as a coach.
Nice. Another little bit of an update, accuracy kick. We know that there are a few situations where we got into overtime play where accuracy kick ended up determining some winners. Fantastic in the moment, not everyone's favorite. However, this year, one of the big things is we're not going to. Only people who have participated in the game are going to be allowed for accuracy kick. If you're not on the roster for that game, then you won't be allowed for accuracy kick. That was a little bit of a different clarification that we're moving into this year as well. Hopefully, that gives you guys some clarity regarding that. So another thing, more than anything else, not to kind of stay on this too long, rules are just about done. The Rules Committee has been fantastic with us. We did add some players from around the nation this year, and we also added some key women that I actually want to take just a moment, if that's okay with you guys, to kind of just acknowledge those girls who jumping in for us from the Rules Committee. Ariana from KBLFK, she's going to be a fantastic asset. She's already involved more than I personally thought she'd be, but hey, first one to turn in her homework, that's always gets a gold star. So Courtney, also from the East Coast, VA Hustle, definitely going to give us some great input as well. Leah from BCC, I guess newly BCC, West Coast girl who's been very dominant for us, and one of the other ads this year for the Rules Committee, Seth McDonald. A lot of you guys know him as a ref. He's been key in a lot of places and a great ref for us. And then also, last but not least, Don Prince of Riot, left-handed assassin, went ahead and accepted the invite to jump on too. So, what do you think of those guys? Hopefully, they'll bring some good insight for us.
Well, I don't trust Don, but the rest sound pretty good.
That may be the smartest thing you've ever said on one of these podcasts, Adam.
I appreciate that. 2015 now. I'm trying to.
Just going to add, I think, just with all past members, thank you so much. We lost, stepped down, we didn't lose them. Harry from New York stepped down. Kim from Virginia Beach also stepped down. Thank you guys for assisting with the Rules Committee. A lot of folks who. The Rules Committee is essentially a collection of players, like Steve was saying, from across the country. The exec team, as we get rules questions throughout the year, will often go to the Rules Committee for advice. We ask them to weigh on how they would, judge a call if certain things happen during the year, and folks come to us screaming that we need to change something in the rule book. We don't just take a pen out and start changing it. We go to the Rules Committee, ask them for their thoughts, their inputs. A lot of those people are at all the events. Some of them they're at a couple, and then some of the times they're not even at events anymore. So they come. Everyone's got a different opinion when they come to the table to discuss a rule. We don't go to them with everything in the sense that the exec team and the VP of Rules, who is John JPW, will address privately if needed. But any roster changes, any roster restrictions, especially when it comes to the Circuit Cup Championship weekend for both now the co-ed and the women's division, we often go to the Rules Committee for their thoughts on roster player checks and everything else. So they have a phenomenal job of sitting back and waiting for rules questions to come to them. We thank them for their time, and we apologize for flooding their inbox around this time of the year and also towards the end of the year.
Nice.
There you go.
All right.
Oh, before I forget, one important thing I want to bring up. We've gotten a little bit of we've heard your concerns out here on the West Coast from players. The West Coast events in March, currently penciled in is Vegas. That's no longer going to be a draft event. It's going to be an official circuit event. We're going to go with women on Saturday and co-ed on Sunday. So a lot of people were concerned that with us taking away Phoenix and possibly taking away LA, with that event being a fun event, well, that worry is no longer on the table. That event in March will be a Saturday women's event and a Sunday co-ed event. We are still
back yet.
Who cares?
Steven was talking, and then all of a sudden we went dead.
That's the second time that's happened this year. We've got a hacker who does not like Steven.
Where did Steven go? There's Steven. Welcome back.
Steven. Hi, Steven.
You guys kicked me out again?
Yeah.
We're live,
Hey,
and we
man.
don't know why it just shut down. Thanks, Google.
I think some ghost in the machine decided that you were rambling on too long and figured the only way to interrupt you and get you to stop talking was to shut the whole thing down.
You know what? I fully understand that. Fully understand.
So, Steven made a great announcement. The March circuit event will be a Sunday co-ed event and a Saturday women's event. That's what I heard, right?
That is 100% correct. No more draft.
You must have pissed them off to kick us all off.
I am disappointed that it's no longer a draft tournament because I was looking forward to the popularity contest and I was going to go as a 12th round draft pick. Swear to God, I mean, it would have been great. I would have been very high up there in the 12th round.
We didn't kill the idea of a draft tournament, did we? Oh.
No. The idea of the draft tournament is it.
I'll have to wait on that announcement later.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? There was a key word in there that some people might have missed, was possibly not having an LA tournament. Just saying. I picked up on it. More on that at another date, but
yeah, more on that at another date.
So, guys, we like to keep the show shorter this time these days, and a topic I wanted to raise with everybody. Over the holiday break, my name is no longer showing. Over the holiday break, we closed the forum, and a lot of folks have been speculating why this is the case. So we run an open source software. It's called PHPBB. They were hacked. The same day they were hacked, we closed our forum just to make sure that it wasn't infecting clients or anybody else that use it. Not the case, so we're fine there. But over the break, and as it was down and we were tweaking some things on our site, we started to ask the question within the exec committee, which is, what is the role of the forum this day and age? You know, in 2006, in August, I launched the forum out of my apartment in Bethesda. The point of the forum was simple. We needed some sort of central location that everyone should communicate about kickball. We all loved kickball. My personal opinion, I got so frustrated when I went to my local Waka leagues and I played in DC Adams Morgan or DC Capitol Hill, and I could look across the mall in DC and I'd see other Waka leagues playing, but I couldn't hang out with them. I couldn't socialize with them at my bar. They had a different bar, and when we had our midseason, preseason, end-season parties, I never saw them. And so here I was with, we had a large league of 16 teams, and we were young, and we go to the bar, and we had a blast. I always wanted to interact with them because I was pretty sure that we loved kickball on this side of the mall, and I'm sure they enjoyed talking, trash talking, everything else. And then things got really entertaining when Shane reached out to me and said, hey, I fly on both sides of the coast. I know teams on the West Coast and the East Coast that play in Waka's Founders Cup. I've got a poll. Would you like to host it? And then it started from there. Fast forward to today, we have a phenomenal social team with Tim running our Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram and Twitter accounts. We have a great way to communicate with our players through social media. We have a great way to offer our events through our website and now through the work that we've done with League Apps, our registration system. We have that platform to offer all of our events. So I wanted to ask you guys, what is the role of the forum today, and ultimately, do you see a future for the forum?
I think it's a great tool. That the forum's the only reason I started doing travel kickball. Actually, it was Shane who I had the opportunity to play in a league with, and he goes, "You gotta get on the board. You gotta meet all these lunatics." And back then there was 2 tournaments a year, so we didn't get to see each other all the time and hug. So the forum was like our connection throughout the country with other kickball people, and I think there's still that connection today. It's evolved a little bit, but there's still that connection of, staying in touch, talking kickball, and trolling.
Yeah, trolling and lurking. Don't forget the lurking, Adam.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the forum is it is a great tool as far as just players interacting with one another. I mean, obviously, the Facebook, the Instagram, the YouTube, all of those have kind of their certain roles. As far as providing announcements and a little bit of a medium for the conversation amongst the players, but I think the forum is kind of the core point where the players can have the conversation with each other, and if you're not having the conversation, you can certainly sit in and be a fly on the wall and lurk in the conversation. Speaking of flies, I just swallowed one.
Not smoking.
Smoking's awesome, kids. Keep doing it.
Yeah. So when's it coming back? Is it coming back? What are we doing?
Well, that is the question as of right now. A lot of the exec committee, felt as if what was well-intentioned and needed, back whenever it got started, even a year or two ago, 2006, 7, 8, 9, 10, it's gotten to a point now where there might be a little bit too much poison on the forums, a little bit too much trash talking, a little bit too intense, and so that was part of the question: is do the reasons why it existed when it started still feel the need, today? And so that's kind of where we are, and we, love to hear players chime in on that.
Well, that's sort of a broader question and a broader philosophy of kickball as a whole. Sure, it was meant to be one thing, and then it became something else because, there's a bunch of chodes and jerks out there. Let me remind everyone, lest anyone has forgotten, we are kickballers. By definition, we are never satisfied. We're a bunch of assholes. So whether it's on the field or at the bar or on the forum, it doesn't matter. Wherever it is, if they're kickballers there, we have the capability of being assholes. So, I think, the forums have certainly gotten a little bit nasty, but what part of kickball hasn't? It just kind of is an unfortunate byproduct of the culture. I think the idea of, sanctioning or getting rid of the forums just because there's some negative and some poison in there, you're punishing everyone who is not a part of that because of a few people who are being dicks. So I don't think there's any point in killing the forums because of that.
Yeah, and I mean, it evolves. It started, kickball when we were kids, gym class, underhand, and we're all competitive. It brings out the worst in people, the best in people, and, it's inevitable that there's going to be some bad seeds in there, but in the end, we're all playing the same sport for the love of the game. I mean, any pro sport has the assholes. Oh, yes. Some of the assholes are really great kickball players, too.
And there's also an interesting thing that happens with the forums. I mean, I remember when I first got on it, I was reading and noted that, there's some abrasive fucks on this forum. There's a bunch of assholes. Then like Adam, I started going to tournaments and started meeting some of these assholes and realized, hey, I kind of like some of these assholes. Some of these people are pretty cool. I mean, there's a separation between, one's persona on the forum and one's persona in real life.
Well said. Well said.
Did we freeze, or did I just floor everybody?
No, I froze a little bit.
Comment.
Yeah, I was freezing up here, but
okay.
Thanks, Google.
Thanks, Google. Thanks, Obama. But no, yeah, I mean, everyone has a forum, and their forum personality, I feel like, even with a lot of people, is, they go into it and they're like, I'm going to be the villain. I mean, I was a part of an email chat group where we'd be like, all right, who are we going to piss off today? What are we going to talk about? And, we would just troll people because we knew they were easy targets. And then, some people took it out of control. But I just think that's how it ends up. And just the moderators just need to be on it if it gets bad.
Well, I think that's part of the problem is our moderators over the years have grown tired of it. We don't exactly recruit moderators. We can't pay them, so we just give them smiles and hugs. But we just...
And green-lettered names.
And yeah, green-lettered names. All the greenies piss people off. I think that's part of the problem. The last year, it just got really nasty. And it's fine. We expect that. We've had that since day one. That we've always had the villains. But in the last... it's now January. I think in the last 9 months, it became apparent to a couple of us that this is impacting business. I always ask the question, is X working for the betterment of the company? And in this last month, it's been, is the forum working for the betterment of the company? Yes, it's a valuable resource. We wouldn't be here without it. I wouldn't have had a chance to meet any of you without the forum and without the love and the support that we've gotten since we launched the forum. Everyone wanted to travel and play kickball. This is something we've just been very passionate about and want to see the sport grow to be bigger and better things. But the moment we start getting customers emailing the company to say, I need you to delete post X, or I need you to use an IP, or whatever, it starts working against us. And there's going to be negativity wherever you go. It's the frickin' internet. That's going to happen. We are a very small company. Folks really do not recognize the fact that despite being owner and no longer CEO, it is a part-time gig. I have a full-time job. Steven, our new CEO, is a part-timer. Steven is not working day-to-day. He's disappeared on my screen. I hope he's still there. Has not quit his job to do this. Our VP of Rules, we just lost Adrock. Our VP of Rules, John, has a full-time job. Shane, our advisor now, has a full-time job running, I won't say what he does, but he works at a university now in San Diego. Brick, our VP of League Development, full-time job outside of this. Jason McMullen, our League Operations VP, full-time job outside of. No one does this full-time at this company. It's a myth that somehow still everyone thinks this is our full-time gigs and we're making thousands and these are our salaries. No one takes a salary at Kickball 365. A lot of people don't realize that. We do this for the love of the game. We're building a product. We're building a company. I'm speaking for Steven right now when I should be. But the forum is just another beast that we have to tackle in our day-to-day operations when we moonlight to build this company, hopefully into something that will be here for many years to come.
Well, and that's you know, obviously good information to have, and we appreciate the candor. I mean, it also I think comes down to the big question in regards to the forum, and the one that everybody wants answered that hasn't been asked yet is it coming back, and if so, when? Or do we not have an answer to that question yet?
As of right now, that's kind of where we are. Is we don't have an answer to that yet, and this is something that we wanted to bring up, and make. We've been very open and transparent with how we do things, and we want to continue to be open and transparent with how we do things with our players. And this is a question that is looming to us as a company. Like if we're moving forward and we're going in a direction that we want to go in, is this forum going to be something that helps elevate us, or is it going to be something that tends to pull us down a little bit? And we don't want the latter, to be straightforward with you.
Sure.
And hearing you guys' opinion and hearing other players' opinion is going to be extremely valuable. And whether or not, we say, okay, well, this is something that can still work for the betterment of us, as opposed to guys like we're just kind of treading water here with this, So that's kind of where we're at right now, And we love feedback. My email is steven@kickball365.com. Like, let me know what's going on. We're on Facebook. You have all of our contact information. I can honestly say since I've been CEO, I think I might have gotten 3 questions regarding the forum. So is it something that is still relevant? If so, let us know.
Yeah, and I mean, in regards to that, if the forum itself does not come back, I think there needs to be some sort of medium, some sort of outlet where the players can, voice their opinions in a public forum, as well as have the public conversation about kickball that has been had on the forums for the past 4, 5, 6 years.
Absolutely. And so if it's not, and that's something that I will be very clear about, is if it's not the forum, it will be another avenue, because we have to keep that line of communication open. So 100%, if it's not the forum, it will be another avenue. We just need to decide essentially whether or not it's going to be the forum or some other things that we've been looking at, that we've been exploring as options. So,
Patty, if you follow the treasure map, you can find where the forum exists today. No one's really figured this out yet, but I think there's a big. I'm just kidding. There's a big. No one's emailed us about the treasure map. No one said anything about the treasure map. No one has said anything about the treasure map. I'm so disappointed.
Well, yeah. What are they going to say? I mean, it's you're right. You're right, Matt. I mean, you've had the treasure map up there for a couple of weeks, and I've been waiting for somebody to make a comment about it on the forum. Oh, you see why nobody's made a comment about it? That's the problem of not having the forum. That's why nobody's asked about it, because the usual spot to go and vent about this sort of thing is gone. So I think a large part of the reason that a lot of people haven't brought it up, and specifically harassed you with emails, either Stephen or Matt, is because nobody knows what the deal is. So why is it down? Was it taken down? Is it a technical difficulty that brought it down? And my understanding is it was originally a technical difficulty that brought it down, thus leading to the conversation of, well, does it actually serve a purpose? Based on my observation and what I've heard from everyone, it serves a hell of a purpose, because everybody's wondering, where the hell is the goddamn forum? They want to see the conversation and be a part of the conversation, which we haven't been able to have for, several weeks now.
It was the North Koreans. They got pissed off at us after we had the North Korean Kickball Open announced for another year. So,
yeah. Kickball 365 and Sony, the 2 biggest targets of North Korea.
Oh, yeah. See our capital? All right. So we lost Adrock. I think his I should upload that picture that he sent us. His setup is pretty retarded. I mean, pretty goofy.
It's not a great setup. Yeah, it's there. That's okay. Your attempt of showing everyone the picture via phone is more ghetto than AdRock's setup. Yes, it's an iPad sitting on top of a lamp.
Pretty good.
And we don't know if the iPad failed. We don't know if his light bulb burned out. My understanding is his only one. So yes, we did lose AdRock, which is unfortunate because now he cannot say goodbye. And I don't know. I mean, they're a fairly open-ended question, but at least now the question is out to the masses. So, harass the Kickball 365 Facebook page about it, tweet about it, Instagram about it. Give them your comments about the forum. I've given my thoughts about the forum, which is bring the goddamn thing back. So, yes, everyone watching, everyone paying attention, give the feedback about the forum, and at some point in the future, I am suspecting, there will be some sort of an avenue for people to start the yelling, screaming, dissatisfied kickballer conversation that we've known for years and have come to love.
Sounds about right.
Well, I appreciate your thoughts, Patty, AdRock as well. You're not here, but thank you again for being on the show. Steven, thanks for the updates. Great to hear the progress.
Moving right along, man. We're really trying to line things up for 2015 and beyond to allow this company to put ourselves in a fantastic position, and we really enjoy, player feedback and giving you guys the experience that you want to have. So keep talking to us. We'll keep doing the best we can, man.
Patty, good to have you. Good to see you.
Good to be here as always. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.